There's not too much in the way of headlines going on today, so I'll just do a general S&P look. But we're gonna hear some more from Jerome Powell soon on what the Fed is trying to do. So right now the Treasury is increasing their sale of Treasuries, which should decrease the amount of liquidity. But we'll see if the Fed comes out with more liquidity or not, and see kind of what the liquidity outlook is on the Fed this week. And then here a trend line that I haven't looked at in a while. I completely forgot about this trend line. Um, Back here, this is our Volmageddon trend line that it comes off the bottom of the 2018 crash, and this is where we backtested and came down here, and now we've gone beyond our financial crisis trend line, but we are back up here, right around this Volmageddon trend line. And so this is a really interesting area, actually, as far as a bubble is concerned, um, because now we don't know if we have broken this Volmageddon trend line. We're on this huge bull run, and this is actually a pretty major resistance line right here that you're not going to see on any other channel, probably. I don't think anyone else has this line. Um, but this is the higher level bull market line that it looks like we already backtested and broke at the beginning of this crash, but we're back to it now. So this is a really interesting spot to watch. I've got a little, just kind of rough bull market line in here, um, as this bull market has continued. And so we're kind of in this area here, below the Volmageddon line and above this bull market line. And let's flip through some stuff. So this is what to watch out for today. And on the fundamental side right now, it looks like the Treasury is really stepping up the issuance of Treasuries, which is taking liquidity away from the Fed and using it for government spending. And so that decreases the liquidity in the financial system. This is kind of the Stan Druckenmiller liquidity measurement, where you look at the Fed's balance sheet, but you have to sort of subtract the treasuries from the Fed balance sheet to see how much liquidity is actually available. And so right now, it looks like the trend is more treasuries and less Fed liquidity, which could be less liquidity in the market. And the dollar, I believe, is still breaking down. Yeah, so this is really interesting. The dollar is still breaking down, and so this is an inflationary indicator. And we saw with the yield curve yesterday that the yield curve has steepened now, and I think it's actually less steep today, just after one day. But the yield curve is steepening, and it's in positive interest rate territory. It never went negative, so that's a slight inflation indicator, as well as the dollar going down. And so we'll have to see how the Fed responds to this DXY, and how they're responding to the treasuries, if they're trying to print a bunch more liquidity to cover the treasuries, or if they're going to talk about tightening or reducing the amount. That'll be a huge swing if treasuries go up and Fed liquidity goes down. Silver is just hanging out. Gold tried to break down and didn't, and so that's a really interesting one. Um, so yeah, this is everything's just kind of stuck right now, and I think like the small caps and the financials are kind of turning over a little bit, and that I think that's kind of where the main downward move is coming from. And yeah, so just in the S&P, um, this is a major area right here to see what kind of action we get off of these trend lines. And then just going back to the general bubble model, what's going on in the VIX? Oh, the VIX is going up a lot. there's nothing really going on. Why is the VIX going up so much? Yeah, that's a big move up with a really trivial move in the normal market. So yeah, let's flip through some things here. So just on the RSI on the S&P, it's overbought now. It's up here in the overbought range. But as far as the momentum goes, we're just in the middle of a move up still. Let's see what it looks like as we kind of zoom in. So, okay, flipping and trying to come down. Oh, okay, trying to come down a lot. This is wider than I thought. So yeah, we could actually get a move down here. Not quite bearish and converging a little bit. Okay, bearish enough to come down. So this actually, the momentum actually looks bearish enough to make a move down today here. And man, as a bearish target, I don't know. Just probably down to this just down to this line would be a bearish target right now. Just this general trend line. And I'm looking at a bunch of other kind of bubbles as they unwind. This is what I was going to try to talk about a second ago. Is when you're unwinding down off a bubble, and I've looked at a bunch of them, .com, I looked at the Nikkei bubble, the Great Depression, all of those. And what you have, when you build the bubble up, you get these increasingly steep trend lines, well, this way, that go up and support the bubble. And then when you're popping a bubble, when you're unwinding, you break underneath and you back test them, and then you come down. And so it looks like we broke this Volmageddon trend line and got down and terminated that Volmageddon line. And generally on the backside of a bubble, once you've terminated a line, it's gone, and you don't come back to it. And then now we've gotten down below this line. But we just went right back up through it, right back all the way up to this line now. So now it's pretty common to either single test or double test. It's more common to double test a line before you break it. So in the bearish case, that's what I would kind of be looking for, is just kind of like a double hit on this line, which could take like a week, or it could take a long time. I mean, it could be like a month or something to kind of test it and come back and hit it again. And kind of the back tests in this bubble, I thought looked pretty similar to the Nikkei bubble, how you keep getting these double taps on the lines. That's what happened a lot on the Nikkei. And so yeah, if we're just back on this Volmageddon line, and if this is the unwinding of a bubble and it is actually a bear market thing, which right now we're not getting a whole lot of bear market indicators because we've gotten up here above this moving average. We're in the bull market side of the line here, and now we're all the way back up to this Volmageddon line. And I was thinking all the indicators were pretty bullish right now, and trying to figure out sort of the technicals and the fundamentals and things like that. But if we get a liquidity squeeze announced this week from the Fed, if they are reducing and the Treasury is increasing and there's less liquidity, yeah, and we're here on this line, that's kind of what I would look for, is probably a couple of hits against this yellow line, and then see if it breaks down in the bearish case, and then, for bullish case, just keep going up. Bullish case is pretty simple. But this is a pretty steep, probably not up at like that angle. Like we have this kind of trend angle going on, so that looks like our, kind of our bull line right now, and just kind of just get past it and just continue on that line. I guess for the bullish case is what you would look for. Yeah, and then I guess the general look for unwinding a bubble in the bearish case, as you want to backtest and then break the next line and backtest it, and not on any specific timeline like that. I mean, this is a really exaggerated long move, and we're all the way back up here. But still, that general pattern on the backside of a bubble would be the same thing that you'd be looking for. Just get back to this trend line and terminate this. Terminate this. This is a tangent line of a 2-year wave, and so we've from the bottom of the 2018 crash, and then it's a bull market support line, and now we've back tested it and gone underneath, and then we've come back up to it. Um, so yeah, definitely, if this thing gets tested once or twice and then breaks down below this line, that would definitely be a very bearish move. And then bullish, you just want to get out of here. And that's kind of the outlook on the shape of the bubble here. And then if we do end up rejecting off of this line, I'll come back and take another look at our other lines and kind of the timeline that we have here set up, because I was expecting a down move kind of at the beginning, yeah, like now at the beginning of June. I thought we'd be getting to kind of a bottom area where we'd start going up with kind of like a 9-month kind of up outlook. But we've gone up this whole time here. I thought we would be down right now and then looking to come up kind of in the middle of June. But we're all the way back up here, so yeah, we'll have to see what kind of move we get off of here. And I think this could be interesting. This week could be very interesting. We'll see what Jay Powell says about the money printer this week. See if he says he wants to tighten it down at all. But right now, well, I guess the momentum isn't really that bullish right now, but it's not coming down very much. So usually, if you get kind of bearish momentum, but it's not actually bringing the price down, that's usually going to be a bull pennant that moves up more. Like the bearish move does actually need to move down, not just get sort of bearish momentum and just kind of go sideways, because uh, that sideways is just kind of a flat, and it's usually just a bull pennant. Yeah, I think that's about all the things for now. I'll definitely be reporting on what JPAL says, and yeah, it's just so, man, there's just like there's no group of indicators that all make sense together. I mean, like the dollar is diving and gold and silver are just chilling out, and the market's up, but it's just kind of sitting here. Um, yeah, there's no picture. There's no picture that makes sense from right here. As far as the projection, I just want to see the action that we get off of this line here, because I haven't even looked at this line in whatever it is, a couple of months. Um, but yeah, this is a major, major line that I don't think anyone else is talking about. And so I'll be talking about that this week for sure. And this is not investment advice. And I'll see if there's any other hot stocks happening right now. But it didn't look like anything was really trending this week at all. Like this is just a boring couple days apparently. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on what's going on, and not investment advice, and happy trading.